This is Toon Talk Weekly, episode 199. This week, Brad and I talk all about butts when we watch an episode of The Day My Butt Went Psycho.
Well, I think we can all agree that Buttapalooza is awesome!
So awesome. Ow.
What's with the hats?
They're uber fans of Gord the Viking Butt.
Tonight we row. Tomorrow, well, we still row. But the next day, if we're done rowing, we feast. Or row. Probably more rowing. Ugh.
Why do you butts like that show?
Don't look at me. I'm into the highbrow stuff. Like Butterstar Galactic.
Come on, guys. We've got to get in line for the butt-fighting super show.
But we're missing all this epic stuff.
Fire on!
The day just keeps getting better.
I'm ready.
Where is that kid?
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday once again. That means it's time for another episode of the weekly cartoon podcast, Toon Talk Weekly. That is, of course, this show, and thank you for joining us once again to chat some cartoons this week. I'm not the only voice you're going to hear. I'm Jake Williams, and that guy over there, if you're watching the video version, which you should be, is Brad Chmielewski. What's up, man?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's weird. We're back in our normal spots.
Yeah, so last week we had a bit of a scene change, so that wasn't too bad. A little different. So it was nice change of pace.
Yeah, I will definitely say the editing was tighter last week because we were in the same room. You have that, like, you can hear each other live, so you respond faster.
Right, and since I don't see your video, I don't know anything that's happening over there.
Yeah, this entire thing, you're just kind of talking to me blind, basically, at this point. But
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah. So this is the weekly cartoon show where Brad and I, who are animators by day, who are also interested in cartoons, not only just as reference, but for entertainment, because who doesn't like cartoons? Man, have you ever met someone and they're like, hey, I'm Dave. I just want you to know, straight up, I don't like cartoons.
That's my buddy Sean.
Oh, really?
He doesn't like animated things.
Like, period.
You know how, what was it? Not Cars, not, what was the movie that won? Oh, Zootopia.
Okay.
You know, won, like, any of the, he loves movies.
Mm-hmm.
But he hates animation movies. They could win Best Picture and he would be so pissed.
He's like actually against things animated, yet he's still friends with you?
Yeah.
Does he know what you do for a living? Should we tell him?
He will not watch animated movies.
That's so strange. I mean, I can totally get that there's an aversion to it. Anytime as excited as I get for like a big, Pixar release or something like that, I could tell my parents it's amazing, and they're like, yeah, okay, sure.
It's all right.
They would take me to Disney stuff as a kid, but that's because they felt they had to, I guess. I don't know.
Right. It's like one of those things you're supposed to do, so okay.
Yeah. So, we're the guys who talk about cartoons because we actually like cartoons, and that's what you're going to get on this show. So every single week we do a brand new episode of a cartoon that we haven't talked about on the show yet. Could be new, could be old. In this case, it's actually a pretty new show from 2013, 2014. And the show is called The Day My Butt Went Psycho. Have you heard of this show, Brad?
Oh, yeah. I love the butt show. No, I've not heard of it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say I love the butt show with my wife too close. I don't want her to know what's going on. Yeah.
Hey, you want to watch that butt show?
Yeah, hey, we got to watch more butts. Trust me.
Yeah.
Put them on all the screens. I don't care.
It's the butt episode.
So this show, I already recorded the intro. Typically, I do it after the show, but I literally knew that all we were going to talk about is butts, and so that's I was like, this is easy.
Makes sense. You know what you're in for.
In fact, I'm going to write the post right now for the episode. Butts, 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 butts. Brad and Jake watch butts.
Watch butts. Okay.
Yeah. So The Day My Butt Went Psycho. This is a show. I gotta say, has gotten terrible reviews. I'm gonna just throw it out there right now. I looked it up. So I looked it up trying to get some more information on it, as you do. Sometimes there's fan sites. This show is only it's 2 seasons, but as far as I can tell, dude, it's one actual season, and then like Netflix picked it up and they did some more or something.
Oh, really? Huh. Okay.
But so the show has pretty poor reviews, and I feel like on like cumulative sites like IMDb or stuff like that. And I gotta say, it's probably because of the content, not necessarily like the stories or the characters or the animation, because that stuff is great. I had a lot of fun with that. But the fact that it's about butts is like people just look at it and immediately think lowbrow, right? They
I guess so, yeah.
They think there's nothing redeeming about what the show could possibly be.
And they might be right, but I wouldn't rate this show, you know, we usually talk about our opinions at the end.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it way down there based off this episode, but I will
Right.
tell you, I probably won't watch any more of it.
Okay, spoiler. Episode done. See you guys later. No. So let's talk a little bit about that. Was just a primer of the day my butt went psycho. It's actually based off of a book series of a similar title. As far as I can tell, it's actually called The Day My Bum Went Psycho, which is great. I wish they would have
Okay.
called it that.
I don't know. Bum's not as funny.
Not as funny. And it's a Canadian animated TV series. It's based on that novel series. The main difference between the series and the book is I guess the series is a little bit more comedic, while the books actually have like a bigger story arc to them, I guess you could say. The arc is actually 2 arcs, and they form a butt, and that's what... No, I don't know. And the books were written by Andy Griffiths. The show was developed by Mark Steinberg, premiered on the Australian TV channel 9 Network in September of 2013, and then Canada's Teletoon June 12th of 2014. So it's only a 3-year-old show. As I mentioned, 2 seasons, 40 total episodes, 60 segments. Tends to be the 11, 12-minute segments for the show. And I guess you could say the story of the series, The Day My Butt Went Psycho, is literally about the characters. But here's what I gathered. The series features Zack Freeman as our main character, who is a junior butt fighter, along with his butt, Deuce. This is actually his butt, but in character form, personified. And Eleanor Sterne, his like best friend here.
So it's his butt?
It's
Is
his
it psychic?
It's his butt, if you can believe it. And Eleanor Sterne is the daughter of the legendary butt fighter Silas Sterne. So if this is confusing, here's what I gathered. And this is really only from the intro theme song, which was at the beginning of another episode I watched, or part of an episode I watched. I didn't finish it. I couldn't do it. It sounds like there was like a butt uprising, where like butts were tired of being, I guess, the butt end of everyone's jokes, or like always behind, people. They wanted to be up front. It was their turn. And so there was this big monster butt uprising. Everyone's butts became real and like took over. After that, there were butt fighters. People needed to, that was a new profession. You needed to be a butt fighter to take care of these monstrous butts. From there, I guess there's now like a peace, but they're still training butt fighters in case the next butt monster, shows up or appears. And so in the episode we'll talk about today, there is technically a villain who would fit this description. You don't know until the end, but I guess every episode's going to feature some kind of butt menace on this town.
Okay, but everyone still has a butt. There's just not imaginary, but a version of their butt that came to life, but they all still have a butt, right?
I guess, so, yeah, the characters are very flat, so I was wondering halfway through the episode, maybe they drew them all flat on purpose so that they didn't have butts.
Yeah, so then there are other normal people in the show?
Yeah, there's her friend Eleanor, Zach's friend Eleanor, who's there. Her dad's featured in some episodes, but I guess there are some other real people, but it seems to mostly feature butts.
Okay.
Butts and the people who work with it. So dude, let's just think for a minute here. If you're in a world where your butt comes disconnected, there's a butt uprising, but it's not that bad. Your butt it's gonna be its own guy now.
But I still have my butt.
No, you don't have a butt. I'm just saying, what if you don't like your butt? What if you want to hang out with other butts? You don't really, yours isn't that cool. He's kind of a jerk.
But you don't want to hang out with your own butt?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you think you would hang out with your own butt?
No, I'd be pissed that he decided to leave me, because now I can't sit down.
You're
ever.
Yeah, I have a standing desk, so this isn't a problem for me.
You basically also have no legs then either.
Yeah, that's true.
the idea of their butts leaving you don't make sense because then you have no legs and you're half a body.
We have an anatomical problem with this show.
How do you poop? Really?
Okay, I'm glad you're asking the hard-hitting questions.
How do you poop?
I was getting there, but I didn't.
Yeah, then do the butts poop like out of their mouth, like in
yeah.
that South Park episode where they like were pooping out of their mouth now?
Oh man, yeah. I guess that's how you have to do it. I don't know. It goes in both ways though. In this case,
do the butts have a butt? Like, what if their butts kind of decide it?
it's also like we only have one episode really of stuff to gather on, but I bet these questions are like the creators must have had so much fun coming up with like, would your butt have a butt? Would he, like, I don't know. I think that's what this show has to offer is lots of butt jokes.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So our main characters, we got Zack Freeman. He's the main kid you're gonna see. I dig the character designs in here. The one thing I almost can't stand about Zack's character design though is his hair is way too long in the front. It's like crazy way above his head.
Yeah.
I don't know why that bothers me so much, but it's fine. You've got Eleanor, his friend, and then of course Deuce, who is the name of his butt. Because what else would you call him, basically?
Right. Because you got number. He's the number 2.
He's number 2 on the show too. Like they figured this out. They're thinking, guys. They're thinking. And so you basically follow them on adventures. The episode we'll talk about today is season 1, episode 7, entitled "Comic Butt Convention," instead of "Comic Book Convention." Also, just about every episode, dude, is titled something like "something but this" or like a pun, but with the word "butt" in it, or poop. Like, I think that's where the reviews come from. Like, there are just so many jokes that they just take the zinger, and that's what they go with. So, what are you gonna do? So the episode "Comic Butt Convention" begins just like that. They're at your typical comic book convention, right? There's tons of kids, tons of people that are going to the show, basically excited to see their heroes. But they're all, comic book conventions are kind of weird because you're seeing your heroes, but your heroes are either artists, which is cool because you can see the people that make your art, or some guy or gal who just happens to play your hero, but you're still pretty excited to meet them because you think of them as your hero.
Okay.
From like a show, right? Like, Brad, what TV show do you really like?
Oh, I don't know. Diggin' The Last Man on Earth.
All right. Yeah. So if you were to meet, I can't even think of the guy's name. What's his nuts? You know what I mean? Would you think of him as the actor, or would you think of him as like, you're the guy from that show I like? Or the character?
That. Actually, if I saw him, I'd be like, how do I know you?
Yeah, you look like you've been in a lot of things, but I'm not sure.
But yeah, probably that show, because I would be like, oh, that's how you know someone. That's just like, you listen to people's podcasts. You're like, I know you, and that's what you talk about. So.
Yeah. It's actually weird. The same thing happens with like Twitch streamers, the video game streaming site where people stream games. I remember seeing something on a forum. Somebody was like, I'm at this event. So-and-so streamer is here. I want to go say hi, but I don't know what to say. And someone responded with like, say what you would say to someone you have never met, because you technically haven't. Right. Like you might watch thousands of hours of their streams over the course of months. And so you feel like you know them. And that goes for podcasters too, right? But like, they probably don't know you because they're just making the thing.
Yeah, you've never met. Yeah.
So it's a super weird thing to assume that somebody would know you. So anyway, so that's what you can expect at this comic book convention. And one of the main characters going to be at this convention is the star of this like Viking butt TV show who plays like the main Viking is going to be there. So people are excited to get his autograph. That's the main draw of like what's going to happen here. So there's lots of kids walking around with the Viking hats like from the show on their butts. I think there's also butts walking around too. It's just a weird mix of butts and people.
Basically, yeah. It's kind of, but the butts are real small.
Yeah.
They're only butt height, right?
Yeah, and everybody in this world is like kind of okay with like this. Yeah, this was a part of our history. We just hang out with butts now. We don't even really
it stinks, but yeah, it's fine.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's not until Zack here sees there's like a mysterious guy at this booth. He's like a wizard guy. You can't see his eyes are cloaked under his robe, right? And he offers that he basically keeps whispering that you're the chosen one. Come over here, little kid. Gets Zack to come over there. Zack's, of course, really excited to see that there's a comic book that he hands him that is basically the story of him and Deuce as superheroes. Who wouldn't be excited about reading the comic book of you being the hero, right? Like, of course he's going to be pretty pumped.
So, what's your booth all about?
Your destiny. What else?
Nice dry ice, buddy.
I'm just going to... Bye-bye!
Coolness.
You are the chosen one. It is foretold.
A comic book?
Comic? Where? Hey, look! It's us!
We'll take it.
What?
$4.95. I accept cash, void check, or your soul.
Woohoo! Soul it is.
Keep the change.
And so he keeps saying he's the chosen one. Of course, this entire time, Eleanor is very skeptical of the entire thing. Why would you just trust this guy, this weird hooded man who's giving you a comic book? She even calls him out and says, like, yep, nice dry ice, dude. I know how this booth works, okay? And what happens for the rest of the episode is basically Zack and Deuce trying to prove to Eleanor that they are the chosen one by reenacting the things from the comic book. The pages are basically the story, so they got to do them to prove that they're the chosen one. I believe the first one is a cool looking... Actually, the art from the comic book is really cool, too, because it's them as these crazy superheroes. But it's basically skydiving. So these two heroes jump out of an airplane and kill the bad guys, and then they also like land and they don't get hurt whatsoever. So we get a great scene with Eleanor's not afraid at all to jump out of this plane, yet Deuce and Zack are petrified. It's not until they're scared out of the plane by a pigeon and fortunately somehow fall safely into this dumpster that they're like, oh yeah, we're the heroes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty strange. The second like trial, I guess, was that the hero versions in the book of Zack and Deuce could walk across crowds of people. There was going to be massive crowds of people. They were going to be able to effortlessly walk across, a la Jesus on water almost, right? So first we need a crowd. We need to figure out how that's going to happen. Well, just so happens the Viking butt dude is about to do his signing for all the kids at the comic book convention, and they rush to him, creating this crazy chaos, and they just happen to be like flip up above and like run across all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, sure. Also, did you notice the Viking butt? His like design was like he's a butt with like butt shoulders.
Yeah, his like elbow pad kind of things for butt pads.
Oh, maybe it's part of that then. Maybe it wasn't that he had it.
Yeah, I think it was like his costume.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But I think after this trial like doesn't really go the way they wanted it to, and Eleanor completely continuing to tell their friends, "Hey, you're not the chosen ones." They get totally dejected, and you get this scene of Deuce and Zack with like beards playing harmonica that they're just super sad. Like, guess we're just washed up now. Can't be the heroes. It's pretty bad. It's right here when one of the kids at the comic book convention that we notice has the Viking helmet on starts acting really strange, walking almost zombie-like. The animation in that character was great, like the snappiness of the bones and stuff. It was actually kind of gross.
Yeah, and the other Eleanor, she's like, quit drooling, like.
Yeah, stop.
Cut it
like,
out.
He's just a TV guy. Like, don't worry about it.
Still time to catch the butt fighting show. Hey, watch it! And stop drooling on me. What's going on?
Get your farting guitar here, perfect for ominous moments.
And then suddenly all of these Viking helmets take over, and they start to glow green. That's the indicator that the horns on the helmets are actually taking over. They're brainwashing these kids to do the bidding of none other than our hooded figure guy from the beginning.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Right. I also think, dude, there were moments in the show, like what you just said, the dun dun dun, that in this show they replaced with fart sounds instead. There were so many little things like that I was like, okay, guys, I get it, butts. All right.
Classic.
And then our villain is actually revealed to us. He pulls off the cape. He's actually two butts. He's like a big, right? He's like a big muscly butt guy, and then like a king butt guy. I completely forgot the name of the character, but I don't know if he comes back or he's regular or he's just a villain butt trying to be a bad butt.
Yeah, they seem to like know him.
Yeah. So maybe he's been around. This is 7 episodes in the series, so it makes sense that he would be there. But his plan, he goes over it. It essentially boils down to make a hit, pitch a hit TV show to kids, get it on the air, have it run for 7 successful seasons, sell X number of merchandise, take over their brains, and then form them into this giant, wiggling, like, gross butt ship. I actually don't even remember where the butt ship was going to go, but it's the grossest thing.
It was going to destroy the taco stand that has a too high of a counter for butts.
That's right. Like, such a mundane thing that he's so upset about.
Hey, hold! A ship of butts! Wow, that even creeps me out.
How did you...
It was all too easy. First, we created a hit television series, sold it to a major network, built a loyal fan base over 7 seasons, gave them free mind-controlling hats, then a little dry ice, a little fake comic book designed to make your friend feel useless.
I did the pictures.
Bada bing, bada boom, evil butt boat thingy.
Well, I'm taking it down. Or not. Maybe I'm not.
Now my zombie butts, to the taco stand!
They'll regret those uncomfortably high counters.
This is all about the high counters at the taco stand?
What? It's really annoying for a butt.
But that's where they're going. They're taking the butt ship. Also, if anybody's ever played the video game Inside, it's a pretty new game, but the ending of that game, actually, I just realized I shouldn't spoil it. Anyway, the ending of the game, if you watch this cartoon and then play that game, all you're going to think is butt ship, and you're going to be so grossed out. Because every time they cut to it, dude, it was like squirmy and wiggly and sounded like, ugh. Anyway, so Eleanor suddenly realizes the problem at hand. She can't do it alone, goes to find Zack and Deuce. This is where he rips off his beard and says, man, thank God I stopped at that wig store, or whatever. Like,
Right. I go to costume shops when I'm depressed or something like that.
Yeah. And then we get a great action scene of them all trying to basically destroy the big butt ship, and it's not quite working. They actually have like their Nerf guns and stuff trying to take it down. It's not until Zack gets the smart idea to dress up and impersonate the character from the TV show that was doing the signing at the comic book convention, and basically tell them like, stop what you're doing, listen to me, I'm the Viking guy.
Yeah, and they're like, we are Rabbit fans. Yes, we will do whatever you say.
Yep. And that's basically, I mean, it ends there. There is a final scene where, they're kind of recapping the day. The main characters are, and it's not until Zack and Deuce see like another hooded figure at some other stand that they're like, oh, we got to know what this is. I think it's a hot dog stand, like telling them to come eat the hot dog.
Yeah.
So, and they go right to it. So they didn't learn their lesson whatsoever. So that was season 1, episode 7, comic butt convention of the day my butt went psycho. So Brad, now I want to get your opinions on the show, the style, the story, all that stuff.
So I like the style, and I like, the concept is silly. It's butts, but they look funny. The story's like whatever. But I don't think the show is as bad as maybe the reviews are coming out to say. Like, if it was on, I might watch it, but it's not a show I'm going to like seek out and want to watch more. It didn't like capture me, but it was kind of funny. Like now that I've seen it, it's kind of like, haha, yeah, I've seen that butt show.
Now you know what it's about.
Yeah.
I felt the same way, that like the look of the show, the style of animation and the style of the art is very modern and like did a good job of it. Sometimes shows can look good, but the movement doesn't feel right. I felt like this was pretty snappy and pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I think the reviews have just got to be, of course, take reviews with a grain of salt for anything, guys. Like you should make up your own opinion about if you like something or not.
Yeah.
But I think it was because it's centered around butts, and like there are moments when the writing is like, okay, yeah, I get what you were going for there, and it didn't really hit for me. So yeah, the story was kind of whatever, but the fact that like these two are best buds and it's also your butt, I kind of liked it. Like it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Again, would I watch more? Go out of my way to? No, but it's a perfect show to like have on, and just kind of not have to pay attention. Just get some fun cartoon happening.
Yeah,
it helps. It's good looks are what helps this show get over in my mind. I think.
Good looks, like the good looks of butts.
Yeah, that's.
I just like looking at butts.
Yeah. I just
so
like
I
butts.
like this cartoon. Yeah.
There you go. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. We're going to wrap up our discussion on the day my butt went psycho. Right now, you guys, it hasn't gone anywhere, but if you have a Netflix subscription, although, of course, if you're listening to this in 20 years, who knows, you can watch it there. All the seasons are there. The numbered episodes, though, are different. It looks like when it came to Netflix, they renumbered the episodes, and
They often do that.
hate when they do that, but look up Comic Butt Convention. That was a pretty good episode. I might actually go back and watch like the first 2 and see if they actually tell me like, okay, what's happening? Why are there butts?
Why are there all the butts here?
I need the butt origin story, basically. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. Brad, let's get out of here. Where can people find you when you're not recording Toon Talk Weekly?
So you can follow me on Twitter. It's @brad or my blog, digitalhitchhiker.com.
Great. Guys, go check them out there. You can follow me on Twitter @Jacob Williams. And, of course, the show. If you want to get at us, we're on Twitter @Toon Talk Weekly, Facebook.com/Toon Talk Weekly. We're over on Google Plus as Toon Talk Weekly as well. And our email for the show is toontalkweekly@gmail.com. It's the main place to let us know what you think of the show. What butt show should we watch next? I'm sure there's another one. This isn't the only one out there. And finally, toontalkweekly.com, the main hub for the show. It's got all the episodes up there, all 199. And next week it'll have 200 episodes on it. So it's kind of nuts. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. Next week for episode 200, we're going to do a little show called Dragon Ball.
Whoa.
I wanted to do DBZ, but it's not streaming anymore. It's kind of crazy. I think there's these like crazy bootleg sites that are like all DBZeps.com or something, but I don't want
.anime.ca.abc.
Yeah, /virus on your computer. So I don't want to go there. So we're going to do some Dragon Ball. It's over on Hulu if you guys want to catch a few episodes. I haven't decided what episode, but I think I'm just going to kind of put on a few every night and kind of get through some of the story, because I know that that show especially can be a little dense. Like you can't get a whole lot out of one episode.
Right, yeah.
Kind of got to know what's going on. So we'll do an episode of Dragon Ball for episode 200, and I got a little game planned for Brad, so he doesn't know it yet, so it should be good.
What?
Yeah.
It's okay. All right.
And then I got to do games every episode after that. No, okay. So that's going to do it for this week's episode, guys. Join us next week when we talk about another cartoon.
Take care.
To learn more about the show, visit toontalkweekly.com or follow us on Twitter @ToonTalkWeekly.